Hey, wanted to do another one of these update videos on the progress of my other YouTube channel. If this happens to be the first video you're seeing, I run another YouTube channel that I run professionally, trying to make money off that, eventually be self-employed off of it, and I just use this channel to post updates on the progress of that channel and things I'm learning along the way. Now, usually I record in my car. I decided to do something different, recording in my bedroom here, and I do apologize for the echo in the corner of this room. I need to get some padding on the walls here to help that sound a little bit better. But, oh well, live and learn, basically, which is, a lot of what's happening with that YouTube channel. So, for a brief recap, I started taking it really seriously in November of 2023, November of 2022, and currently it is April 20th of 2023. And in that time, the channel's reached close to 9,000 subscribers. It's like 8.9K. I was really hoping for this next update we'd get it to 9,000. 10,000 would be really nice, good milestone. But there's something I wanted to talk about here, so figured I'd go ahead and do an update. And that is this idea that as the channel has progressed, I've noticed that by saying we, I work on it with one other guy, we have to change our strategy. Now, we're not changing the topic of the channel. The focus and basically what the audience is there for is the same, but our strategy as far as upload schedule and where we put our energy, that is going to be something that's evolving, and the more we do the channel, the more I'm finding out that is going to be the case. For example, when we started, before November of 2022, we just kind of did videos on whatever, basically. There was sort of like a loose consistency of videos, like as far as the style, but the topics were all over the place. And we'd only gotten, I don't know, 12, maybe 25 subscribers off of that. It's like, this isn't working. We're trying that since January of 2022 to about November. And the guy I work with basically was like, look, this isn't working. This isn't feasible. So we narrowed our focus to a more of a niche, something that at first the guy I work with thought was going to be too narrow, but I kind of knew if you take a narrow topic and you hone in on that, you're going to find out there's more there than you could ever imagine to discuss. And basically what we did is I used this website called H Super Tools, and you could take different topics like feather duster, how to use a feather duster in a bedroom, and you could put in that search term and it will tell you how likely it is that you're going to get, like, if you do a video with that title, how likely it is that that video is going to break into the search results and people are going to find it. It will also tell you how many people are even searching for that in the first place. So some topics might be really, if you just plugged in oogala boogala, like just a random crap basically, or flag, postcard, and pine cone, just a bunch of random words, your video might rank, but no one's searching for it. So our initial strategy was to look for these topics that people are searching for. Not a ton of people, just because that's harder to get, but there definitely were people searching for them, and they're easy to break into. So that's what we did while we were growing, and it was basically a slow, steady rise, but it was really quick that we went from 25 subscribers to 80. I mean, it was, you could probably watch these update vlogs, and comparatively to where we were going with just, no traction really, we were getting traction. And then it became an exponential growth at a certain point. We had one video that was, you know what, I want to say we had a few videos that were sort of like breakout videos at different steps along the way. So where we were about a month ago was the guy I work with was sort of like, maybe we should focus on good topics that don't come out as often, like videos that don't come out as often, but they're basically good topics that are guaranteed to get views. Whereas I wanted to stick with our old strategy. And as it turns out, what the guy I work with wanted to do was better. Though there's a lot of little components to that. And see, there's so much running through my head. Every time I do one of these updates, I just got a million things on my mind that I want to talk about. But I think for this one, really what I want to focus on is the idea that the strategy that you apply to YouTube is going to change the bigger you get. Because, and I don't fully understand the way YouTube's algorithm works, but I think the way it works now is the subscribers we have, it's about close to 9,000. Like, whether or not a video ends up in that recommended side panel on the right, like, that is kind of determined on whether our viewers not only watch the videos, but stay engaged to them. They're not just clicking back right away. But probably most importantly, that they click on them in the first place. And what we're finding is I was basically trying to do all these small topics on these really niche things because I was like, well, that worked for us and we're really not big enough to switch strategies. And what I was finding is we basically weren't getting the return on our investment because these niche videos still took time to make. And it's basically like, why am I spending time making these videos when just like our audience has expanded to a point where we don't need to cover these niche topics anymore. We can pick a little bit broader topics and break into that bigger space because that's what our subscribers are going to click on. This really niche stuff just doesn't get the same amount of clicks. And see, my mind's going again. Basically, it's not going to get recommended. So if I just wanted to stay in this, dominating this smaller niche space of YouTube, I guess I could do that. But, and you could keep doing that, but to grow, you kind of got to change your strategy because all these little niche videos just aren't going to get attention. And here's another good example is of why just throwing all that stuff out there isn't good is because each video is a big investment to produce. So what I was doing at first was focusing on all these, getting a lot of small videos out, like potentially 3 a week, rather than what we've shifted towards, which is getting a video out every 2 weeks, preferably every week, but that video's quality. And every aspect of that video is fine-tuned because there's a title, there's a thumbnail, description and tags to a much lesser extent, and then all the research that goes into it. Really, the thumbnail, the title, and all the research that goes into it. Well, all of those smaller videos still have all of those components. So what we were finding was just, it wasn't, we were reaching diminishing returns because for all these small videos that weren't going to get many views, I was still spending a good amount of time on a thumbnail. And a thumbnail takes a lot of time unless you're just basically picking a picture and throwing it up. Even adding font on a thumbnail takes a lot more than you would think because it's like, okay, how do I place this? Now I've got to adjust things in the frame. How am I going to align the text? How to make it read? How do I make it read right? There's all these components that you don't think of. So what we've shifted towards was basically doing these more, I don't want to say high quality videos because our other ones were good, but and they're still, the current videos we're doing are still, like, our audience really likes them. I don't think they feel like we've sold out, though I think there's an argument to be made that when you get bigger, to some extent you have to do that, you know, if you want to get those bigger levels of success. But one thing I really want to make clear is I don't think the current strategy we're doing would have been good to do while we were still growing, because making these videos that take a week or 2 weeks to make, and then you throw them out there, and because you don't have an audience, like they're not getting shown to anyone, and you're now competing in a space with a bigot, with more competition. You know, there's more people in this space, so naturally your videos aren't going to rank because you don't you don't have the subscribers if you're at this low level for these broader topics to rank, and you like, so you're not getting views because like they're not ranking, and your subscribers aren't there to help you boost it. So it is like we couldn't have started out with this strategy. Like I said, we kind of did at very, very first, where we're doing these very broad topics, these ones with really wide appeal, but they weren't being shown to anyone, so frankly, no one cares. People who've gone back and watched those videos really like them. We get comments on those occasionally where people are like, "These are great. You know, it's a shame these never caught on." But there was no good way to market them. I think a good way to think of it is, if you know video games, see, I play Overwatch a lot, too much, unfortunately. And the way that game works is, like, there's a ranking system. It's a competitive video game. And you kind of start off, if you're really bad at the game, you're going to be in bronze. If you're a little bit better than that, silver, and then you go up to gold, and you have these different classes you're in. And there's 37, 36 characters in the game. And each match has 5 people on each team. And you get to pick between these characters, basically, who do you want on your team. Every player picks. And if you're in the really low ranks, there's this one guy, he's called Bastion. He used to be my old favorite. He's like, he outputs a ton of damage, and he's like terrifying if you're a new player at the game, because he's just like a titan. The thing is, though, he's not very versatile, so you can like annihilate people in those low ranks with Bastion, but as you get better and you start competing with people who are on a higher level, the meta of the game changes, and now Bastion's no longer viable. So if you want, you can keep playing Bastion and just dominate in those lower ranks, but if you ever want to move up, it's just simply not a good strategy anymore. You've got to start learning other people. With that said, Genji he's like a ninja, so you can only imagine he's like a high-skilled character. If you start off in the low ranks with a guy like Genji, he requires a lot of support from his team. At those low ranks, your team just doesn't support you that well. So it's really not a good idea to start off with a guy like Genji. But as you get higher and you get better teammates and you yourself become better at the game, he's definitely a more viable pick. Though, if you know anything about Overwatch, there's a lot of people who play characters like Genji who have no business playing him. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about here. Had some general notes. If you come across this video for the first time and you're like, wow, this guy has close to 9,000 subscribers, we do not make I would say even a part-time living off of the channel. Maybe I would but we split the money 50-50. So that just isn't happening. We do make money off the channel, and I think there's a lot of growth potential there. But you know, with our subscriber number, it's simply not there. But we're chugging away at it, and I hope to keep making these update videos, because it's a ton of work, but it's rewarding, and it's something I believe in. So I'm determined to make it work. And I think that's all I have to say for this one. I hope to do another update in a week or two.